Welcome to Pinfall Rewind, episode 6, and thank you for joining us here at otakusandgeeks.com. And if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for joining us here on the channel. Today, my friends, we are going to be talking about Power Move Pro Wrestling. Now, originally, this was going to just be part of my non-WWE games that you should play, but I feel that this game and the other games that were on that particular episode that I did scrap they deserve their own episode, especially Fire Pro. That's a dedication episode on its own. But I wanted to do Power Move Pro Wrestling because this was a game that I got in 1996 for the PlayStation 1, and this game me and my brother played religiously. We are big wrestling fans here on the channel, and we played this game so much, and I said it before, to the point where the CD got scratched. That's how you know we played this game so much, because you just wore out the CD, just wouldn't load anymore. But this game was released in 1995 in Japan. Forgive my pronunciation. I believe the game was called Toukon Retsuden. And later it was adapted in North America as Power Move Pro Wrestling in 1996. This game marked one of the first significant attempts to bring professional wrestling to the PlayStation. While it didn't carry, the licensing power of WWF or WCW at the time, it did introduce players to a more technical, grapple-based wrestling style rarely seen on consoles. Power Move Pro Wrestling was a quiet but important step for wrestling games, helping to shape the future of 3D wrestling engines that will blossom later in the decade. So let's talk a little bit about the gameplay. So unlike the more arcadey wrestling titles that dominated the mid 90s, like WrestleMania, the arcade, in your house, and things of that nature, Power Move Pro Wrestling emphasized a slower, more methodical grappling system. Matches weren't won by just button mashing, they demanded timing, they demanded strategic use of submissions and holds. Every wrestler had a similar but distinct move set, and success relied on mastering your individual strengths. Players could wear down your opponents and set up submissions, and a concept at that time which was kind of advanced. The flow of the matches were a little bit more slower pace, smaller moves with transition, and you had some big moves like a power slam or a power bomb, and those were really doing damage to your opponent. It had kind of this fluidity to it. It's a very slower paced wrestling game from what we had at the time compared to like a In Your House or a WWF WrestleMania arcade. The system was rewarding patience, and it did feel more like a pro wrestling, Japanese pro wrestling style approach to the game, which you'll see in the gameplay what I'm talking about. But the gameplay was solid, and it's still fun and a blast to play. But as far as the graphics, so given the early PlayStation hardware, the visuals were understandably rough by today's standards, but wrestlers were constructed with blocky polygons and sharp edges, but they had surprisingly good animation for their signature moves and taunts. Character models were colorful and exaggerated, creating almost like a comic book feel. The arenas were basic, like more than rings with empty backgrounds, but they did a good job, especially the dome arena. I felt like it was the best one. And the ring style, as you can see here, is not mimicking the American pro wrestling aesthetics when it comes to the turnbuckles. This is full blown Japanese style pro wrestling influence here. And the 3D models executing suplexes, power drivers, and spin kicks were exciting to see for wrestling fans back in the days, especially us. And this is why we played Power Move Pro Wrestling so much, because it did give us those feels of an actual wrestling, at least Japanese style wrestling presentation. Now, as far as the sound goes, it's straightforward but effective. There's no entrances or anything like that, but they did have a ring announcer that really did a good job of announcing each wrestler, such as Malibu Mike or Area 51. You had crowd noise from here and there, but it wasn't like something that you expect in a WWE game with large chants, and they really had the Japanese approach to it, because if you watch Japanese pro wrestling, they usually do not scream what or do the chants that you see in other regions. So I thought Power Move Pro Wrestling did a good job of really emulating the Japanese wrestling presentation. Now, as far as the roster goes, it's pure fiction. Let's be honest. That's actually what's refreshing about it. We got original characters such as Malibu Mike, Area 51, Lance. Lance. Maybe we should bring Lance to the UWL. Anyway, so but you can tell that the characters were inspired by certain wrestlers like Thunder Liger, but names and appearances were tweaked, of course, to avoid legal issues. Now the game has some standard modes here. You have your singles, and pretty much, okay. Well, the modes were a little lackluster, but you had a tournament, you had your single modes. There's no storylines, no season mode, no cutscenes. Keep in mind, guys, this is 1996. So, what to wrap this up before I play the match? This is gonna be a quick episode, obviously. But yeah, Power Move Pro Wrestling didn't sell millions of copies, nor did it spawn a sequel or a running franchise. But what it did do, it's one of those games that did spark the battery to get more authentic wrestling games in there. If you are a hardcore wrestling historian, Power Move Pro Wrestling is an important piece of the puzzle. It represents the bridge between the 2D era arcade wrestling games that we got and the 3D simulation heavy titles that will come later on. It's focused on strong fundamentals and really kind of overshadowed, not overshadowed, but foreshadowed what will be coming. So without further ado, my friends, let's play a match in Power Move Pro Wrestling. All right, friends, it is time to kick this off. Let's put this on medium, of course. Keep the let's put a time limit just in case. Yeah, the dome. So we got the Judge, Danny McGee, Commandant Zombie, Chain Gang, Malibu Mike. Then you got the boy Lance, the Egyptian, Area 51, who I gotta be, of course. Always gotta be the boy, Area 51! Orange, El Temblor, and King OG, or King Og. And I'm gonna face, of course, Malibu Mike, but here is the announcements. Let's get to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for power slamming pile drives, clotheslines and body slams, pulverizing neck breakers and combinations? Are you ready to rock? Wrestling fans, it's time to make a power move. Power Move Pro Wrestling! Single match, 30 minutes. In the blue corner, 6'3" tall, 249 pounds, Power Move Pro Wrestling's full-time dude, Malibu Mike Swanson.
Mike?
In the red corner, some say he's 6 foot in height, possibly 240 pounds. The man the government denies, Area 51.
Area 51!
Referee Rothburn Sally.
All right, the man that the government denies, Area 51 versus Malibu Mike. Here we go. And look at the strikes there by Area 51. And this is what I was talking about, folks, when it came to this gameplay here. You can see how if you compare this to how the games were that we got back in the day, like WrestleMania Arcade, In Your House, of course. And, we had, and then those 2D wrestling games like Royal Rumble. This was one of those games that really kicked off that more stylized wrestling simulations here. And I also like the fact that the ref counts for the rope breaks here. You don't really see that in 2K anymore, like where you could just hold on to the submission. So there's certain things in here that this game does that I hope that future developers look at and bring back, such as holding on to submission for too long. The Area 51 with those chops now, going back to that sharpshooter scorpion deathlock here. Referee, Area's got to release it, and Area does. Oh no, Malibu Mike right back to the headlock here. As the referee's checking. And Area 51 look like he's going for the suplex on Malibu Mike. Oh yeah, I forgot to say this during the gameplay section. You can change the camera view with the push of a button, which is just crazy that we don't even have that option anymore. That you can just change the way the camera positions just with a push of a button. But this game has, as good as this game was and as addictive as this game was, it did have such a limited moveset. Ooh, nice chop there by Area 51 now. Area 51. Ooh, clothesline. And now, Area 51 here, folks. Look out. Ooh, another chop there. And just kicking Mike. And what is 51 gonna do here? 51, oh, reversal by Malibu Mike. Oh, snap there. Nice takedown there by Area 51. Oh, another reversal by Mike here. Look at this, double arm. And a kick out by Area 51. What a matchup we're getting here on Power Move Pro Wrestling. Sharpshooter locked back in. And Area has to release that hold there. And look out, another sharpshooter locked in. He's really trying to tap out Malibu Mike here, folks.
1, 2, 3.
And does not want his disqualification here. Oh, look at that chop there. Look out, big scoop slam. And what does 51 have in store here? Bulldog. And 51 could be going for it. Yes, his patented powerbomb. And that's gonna be it, folks. And that's it for Pinfall Rewind, episode 6 of Power Move Pro Wrestling. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Later days.